blessed place. How y'all doing? Come on in the room. Come on in the room, you guys. I'm excited about our live tonight. So I'm going to give you a little bit to come on in the room while I sing our welcome song. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Jesus is our doctor and he writes out all of my prescriptions and he gives me all of my medicine in my room. Come on in the room. We got some good discussion tonight. We're going to be talking about, just like the title says, annoying habits that destroy relationships. So I'm going to let you all get on in the room. I see you coming in. You're coming in. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I am so excited because most of you know I was MIA for a few weeks. We had, the Labor Day holiday. I had a birthday at the end of August. Also, like I said, I was taking care of my husband who had a little surgery. Thank you for all the well wishes, those who wished my husband Charles well, those who prayed for him. Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and get started so that the people on the replay can get right into the video, and those who are coming in can just jump right on in here. So we're talking about annoying habits that destroy relationships. So let me preface this by saying not all relationships are the same. What's annoying to me might not be annoying to you. What's annoying in my relationship might not be annoying in your relationship. So you have to know what's annoying to you. You have to know what's annoying to your partner. And you all have to work that thing out as far as what's irritating and annoying each other. And some things, as humans, we're infallible. We're we're all messed up at times. So, you're gonna probably always irritate your partner in some way or another. You're gonna always be annoying. So there are some annoyances that just gonna be a given, just gonna stay in your relationship. And you have to decide between the two of you what is mutually acceptable. What's a mutually acceptable annoyance? Your partner's a little messy, it annoys you, but it's okay. Your partner maybe is a little bit more talkative than you desire them to be, but it's okay. So you all have to decide for yourselves what's mutually acceptable. But there are some annoyances that, we don't want to just rest on this is how I am, I'm not perfect, that we want to be pleasing, and acceptable and pleasing and lovely to our mates. So let's get started. Again, like I say, we all have annoying habits, and we're all annoying, and we all become annoyed, and that's just normal. So you're not abnormal because you're irritating or you're annoying, and you're not abnormal. Your relationship is not abnormal, or your relationship is not doomed just because he or she annoys you, or just because you annoy them. So let me just share with you where the thought for this video came from. And my husband was telling me one morning, he was like, well, something's going on with the truck and we're going to have to get it fixed. He said, but I didn't want to tell you last night because I don't like when someone tells me something late at night. No, he said, I don't like when I'm told something late at night and it's on my mind. Hi, Andrea. How you doing? Welcome. All right, thanks for being in here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. So I was just talking about where the idea of this video came from. And so my husband was like, I don't like being told bad stuff at night. He said, so I didn't tell you about the truck needing fixed. And when he said that, I thought to myself, he's trying to tell me, like, don't be telling him stuff at night before he goes to bed. And those negative things that he's got to go to bed and lay with and sit with and toss and turn about. So I just thought, okay, well, Deidre, make sure that that doesn't become an annoying habit to tell Charles certain things at night when he got to go to sleep. So I thought about this, these annoying habits that we do. So, let me just also say what annoying habits in a relationship can cause. Like I say, some annoyances are going to be normal. You're going to mutually annoy each other about certain things. But if it's constantly and consistently, and your partner is telling you that I hate that, that bothers me, it irritates me, or even if they are acting as if it bothers them, then we want to pay attention to that, because being constantly irritated and annoyed in your relationship can cause a plethora of problems. Just a few being silence in your relationship, insecurity in your relationship, desensitization in your relationship. And what I mean by desensitization is, they don't have any more feelings. Hi, Sid. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm wonderful, thank you. Thanks for asking. How are you? But desensitization in a relationship means that there's no passion left. There's no, that you're neither here nor there about the relationship. Hey AJ, welcome, 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 ladies and everybody that's in the room. So it could also cause constant irritation. Sometimes you wonder, why does your partner seem like they're always irritated? And sometimes it's because of those annoying habits. And it could cause anger and resentment in your relationship, and that could snowball into distancing, just being emotionally distant. And then you don't want your partner to emotionally check out, because when they emotionally check out, then usually that physical is going to soon follow. So let's get to it and talk about some of those annoying habits. And those of you who stuck around to the end, I want to hear about what are the habits, annoying habits that irritate you as it relates to a relationship. And what do you think you do that probably is annoying to your mate? So, first, uh, one irritating habit, annoying habit, always correcting your mate. I've been around couples like this where the usually it's the woman who's always correct. Rarely have I seen it's the man correcting the woman, but I'm sure that happens. But most, I would say 98% of the time when I have seen this, it's the female correcting the male. And I know I have been so guilty. Hands up emoji. I've been so guilty of this, of correcting my husband. And especially some of the things he say, the words he say, because he just has like a speech impediment. There's certain the words he can't say, or certain words he mispronounced. And I find myself, especially earlier in our marriage, always trying to correct his grammar. And I just kind of got to the point where, did you leave the man's grammar alone? He made it 50 some years without you as the grammar police. Hi, honey West. Hi. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I had to tell myself, Deidre, he made it so many years, 40 something years, 50 something years, now soon to be 60 in another year. He made it this far without the grammar police. So leave this man alone. So that's number one, always correcting your mate. That can be very irritating, and it could cause your mate to not want to communicate with you or around you. Number two, interrupting in conversation, where you're always cutting your mate off. Whether you're talking to each other and you're always cutting the person off, and or oh, thank you for praying for my sister sent, and yes, saying you have been in our prayers, and I'm so sorry for your loss. But yes, interrupting in conversation. I've seen that where we're always, I do it, and I work hard on not doing it, but cutting my husband off in conversation. I try my best not to, and sometimes I fail. But that can be very annoying when you're constantly interrupted in conversation or being cut off in conversation. And even when it comes to conversation, talking too much, you're guilty of number one, and I own up to it. Yep, yep, yep. AJ, I like I say, I used to do it a lot. I used to do it a lot when it comes to correcting Charles, because you all can hear it, even when he sits with me and he talks. If you listen closely, you can hear like his speech impediment, or you could hear certain, like for instance, men's. When he say men, like more than one man, he always gonna say men's. I've been telling him. For years, it's men, no S, men. Unless you're talking about men's clothing, possession. But I said, did you leave the man alone? He got this far without the grammar police. Let him communicate the way he wants to communicate. But anyways, I am guilty of that, AJ. But I've been trying to do better because what I found was that at times my husband would. He's a talker. He's a talker. He's an extrovert to the nth degree. And there were times I would find he would be a little quiet, and I'm thinking, "Oh, what's going on? Why is he quiet? Is the relationship not the same?" And then I had to take introspection and say, Deidre, he probably tired of you correcting him all the time. So I had to go inward and introspect. Yes, I'm a grammar nut too. Major pet peeve. But AJ, if you have a mate whose grammar is not up to par, not up to your standard, you have to work hard not to always correct them, not to always be the grammar police, because I was that. I will admit I'm still that a little bit, but I work hard. Bite my tongue hard, like, Deidre, shut up. Deidre, shut up. Deidre, his grammar doesn't have to be perfect. Deidre, his words don't have to be perfect. Like, even when Charles started doing videos with me, like back in the day, KW, you can relate. When Charles used to start do videos with me, I would correct him. And then I can tell he really didn't want to do videos with me. He's just not a video person. He's kind of evolved a little bit over the years, but he really just was not a video person, a YouTube person. But I said, he probably don't want to do videos with you. You constantly correcting him. So I had to. So that's why you'll see a lot of times when he does do a video with me, and his grammar is off, I don't say a word. I don't say a word. So yes, you don't want to always correct your mate. Number 2, I was talking about interrupting. Kind of that segues into don't constantly interrupt your mate and constantly cutting them off. And also in communication, don't talk too much, over talk too much. You want to, like I said, read the room. You want to read the room. Is your mate wanting you to talk, or are you wanting your mate to talk? So you kind of read the room. And sometimes people don't know how, especially extroverts, not always. Some of them are really good. My sister Denise is an extrovert, but she knows how to read the room. Some extroverts don't know how to read the room or the temperature of the room, and they'll just talk. So you want to know how to be able to read the room, take the temperature of the room. Number 3, and we're talking about annoying habits that destroy relationships. Number 3, being negative, constantly negative, and constantly complaining. That can destroy a relationship when everything is negative. You don't have a kind word about anybody. You don't have a positive word about any situation. Everything is doom and gloom. And that's heavy. That's too heavy to be around. So you want to be mindful of that. That doesn't mean everything is peaches and cream and everything is coming up roses and everything is, but have a positive mindset, positive words, words of uplifting words, comforting words, some joy. Not everything is woe is me. Everything is negative. Let me tell you about what they did to me at work, where you're always the victim. And that's a lot to put on your mate, to come home every day and put all of that on your mate. What they did to me, how they mistreated me, how my boss did me wrong, how my family did me, how my friends did me, where some people are constantly the victim. And constant negativity and constant complaining. And that's a lot to put on another person. And that's a lot to deposit into your relationship. So be very mindful of that. Yes, there's nothing wrong with sharing. I love to share. I love when my husband come home and shares with me. And sometimes it's a hard day. Sometimes it's a hard Monday. Sometimes, some things as a supervisor, he has to deal with some things. Me as a manager, I have to deal with, and we share, those things. But, that may be, 10% of our conversation, where the other 90% is more uplifting. So just be mindful of that. Number 4, failing to keep your word. that's an annoying habit to fail to keep your word. They say word is your bond. Sometimes the word is all we have. So keep your word. And some of these, because I have 21 of them, some of these we just gonna breeze right through because they're just self-explanatory. When you put your word out there with your partner, keep your word. You say you're gonna do something, do it. You say you're gonna go somewhere. You say you're gonna take care of some business or something with them. Then make sure you do it. Let me pause so I can read. When someone comes to me and being negative, I tell them I don't want to hear it. I know you got to get it out, but not all the time. I see you. Am I wrong for this? No, I don't think so. Like I say, you have to know. You got, like I say, read the room. You got to know, and I think you're sensitive enough to know whether or not somebody's coming to you with negativity because it's something that they need to release as a friend or as a partner or something like that, and someone who's just constantly negative. So you just have to be able to discern. You have to be able to discern: is this somebody who needs a friend and needs a shoulder to cry on, or is this my husband or my partner or my soulmate, my boyfriend or wife, husband, wife, whatever? Is this just a bad day? Or is this just a bad week? Is this a hard time in their life and they need me and they need me to be that sounding board? They need me to be a comforter. They need me to be a listener. Or is this person dragging, just suck the energy out of the room because they're always negative. They're always the victim. There's always something going on with them. So you just have to be able to discern that. No, it's not wrong. You can't be an emotional dump all the time. Nope, you cannot. Not every time. Not every time I see you, I turn and walk away. And when I see them coming, exactly. No, Sin, you cannot. I love that say I love that term. Say emotional dump. You cannot be an emotional dump. You know when something is a dump. I don't know about y'all where y'all live, but we have dumps where people take their trash and where the waste company take the trash to these dumps and these landfills, and it stinks. You could just be passing by. You don't even have to go to the landfill. You just on the highway passing by the landfill and you smell it. And that's what's just gonna happen when someone is constantly using you as an emotional dump or an emotional landfill. It's gonna stink after a while. So no, that's not wrong at all. And as a matter of fact, that's very good, and that's good. That's a good example for other people to follow to know. Don't be an emotional dump for people. And conversely, don't you be the one that's constantly taking your trash to the landfill, so to speak, in other people's lives or even in your relationship. Number five, another annoying habit in a relationship: punishment that doesn't fit the crime. We should not be doling out punishment at all. Hey, long time. Good to see you, Tommy. Thank you for coming in. So another thing, like I said, is the punishment that doesn't fit the crime. In our relationship, a lot of times we have the annoying habit of wanting to punish our mate, whether we're punishing them by withholding sex or sexual favors, or giving them the silent treatment, being overly hysterical and overly dramatic, stopping, at, stop doing our chores, stop just doing, stop being thoughtful. And so a lot of times, we're doing all of those things as punishment. And it can become annoying and irritating in your relationship by always trying to punish the person because for whatever reason. Maybe they said something that you didn't like. Maybe they didn't come through with a promise. Maybe they failed you in some way, and your punishment is harsher than what the offense was. And I know I've seen that in relationships where the one spouse did something. Yes, they made a mistake, but then the punishment or the repercussions are much more severe than, you're like, so you didn't talk to your husband for a week just because he did this or he did that. And it's not even about cheating or anything like that. Sometimes it could just be like say simple mistakes or whatever, or maybe he misspoke, or maybe he hurt your feelings or whatever, But you can't have the punishment to that doesn't fit. There shouldn't even be a punishment. There shouldn't even be punishment in a relationship, but you can't have an imbalance in your response to a negative situation. Number six, mismanaging money. Mismanaging money can be very annoying and irritating in your relationship. If one is pretty good with money and the other severely mismanaged, now we all may get a little off balance every now and then, or we all might have overdrawn a check, or we all might have, our money looking a little funny and our change looking a little strange. But we should be in this together, in a relationship. But if you are always mismanaging the money, especially if you're the one who's supposed to be in charge of taking care of the bills, like my husband told me the other day, he thanked me for taking good care of our money and taking good care of our bills. And that meant a lot to me, from my husband, because my husband works hard for us. Yes, I work hard too, but my husband works hard for us. And I know he wants to know that he can entrust his money with me. Entrust our money. Yes, it's our money, but he works hard, and that he can entrust that with me. Because right now, if I passed away, my husband would really have to scramble to find. He doesn't know anything about how to pay for our light bill. He has no idea how to pay our truck payment, because all of that is on my phone on apps. He has no idea. I mean, he'll figure it out, or he'll figure it out when they start, if they started cutting stuff off or calling him. But he entrusts me, and my point to saying that is he entrusts me that much with our money that he doesn't even know how to pay them himself. But you got to be trustworthy and not mismanage your money. Like I say, yes, you might fall short. There have been times my husband and I, we just like was so poor. We was so poor. We were so poor. We're trying to support our church, and also trying to, a brand new church that we started from ground up, and also our home. And so some things had to go lacking. We had to give up some things, but God blessed us. So yeah, there are some times that you're gonna have hard times. Just because you have a hard time does not mean you're mismanaging. That's something that you have to assess for yourself. Are we mismanaging, or is this just a season? That there are gonna be seasons in your life that it might be, like I said, your money looking funny and your change looking real strange, and that does not mean you're mismanaging it. That just means you're going through a season, but you have to know the difference. And are we just going through a season of lack right now, or a season that God will have us to learn some things? And is He making us ruler over the few, so that we can know how to be ruler over much? So you have to know, or are you just mismanaging? So you want to be in a relationship, manage your money and your responsibilities, and prioritizing. You don't want your mate to see, okay, you got money to loan mama and them. You got money to spend on the homeboys. You buying all the rounds of drinks. You doing it, but you can't take care of your family, or you getting your nails done, your hair did, but our lights out. So you have to be careful. Money management scares me. My parents worked hard, didn't have a lot, but managed pretty well, so we didn't starve. Financial infidelity and irresponsibility scares me badly. Why? Good. So, AJ, when you say that it scares you, are you saying that you don't feel equipped to manage properly, or are you saying you're hoping that your mate knows how to manage properly, or kind of explain a little bit what scares you about it? But I love that. I love that transparency. Tommy says trust is definitely key in that money management. Hard times for ministry's sake can definitely pay off later. Yes, seasons. Yes, Tommy. Yes, and let me just say, this is just a sidebar related to what Tommy said when he says hard times for ministry's sake. Tommy, I was just thinking about this the other day, and just in prayer time, and just really in praise. time just praising God for His goodness and His mercy and His many blessings. And I thought back to the hard times that Charles and I had in our marriage financially, and I just started to praise Him even more because He is. I mean, like y'all, this is a whole video. This might be a whole video, but to just to remind people that God is faithful if we are faithful. But we just have to know what season we're in. So when we had our church, like I said, we started ground zero, 3 people. Me and Charles was 2 of them. Y'all heard me say this. And then my sister was the 3rd. We started with 3 people, and then the Lord just blessed, and we built and we built. And this place we were in, we had to knock down 3 different walls to make the church bigger over time. And there came a time when we had a home, and we could not keep our home and keep the church up. So Charles and I talked about it, and because our rent was $1,000 a month at the church, and I would say 80-90% of that $1,000 plus other utilities, lights, and all of that stuff, and we always helped people and all of that good stuff. And Charles and I had to have a conversation: do we give up our house, or do we give up our church? But one's got to go. We can't maintain them both. We both agreed. There was no disagreement. There was no ifs, ands, buts about it. We both immediately came into agreement that we will keep our church and we will give up our house, and we will let God take care of the rest. And we moved out of our house before they put us out. We moved out of our house and we moved into an apartment complex where we lived in that apartment. We thought it was going to be a year or 2, but we ended up living in an apartment for 5 years. After that, God has blessed us with 2 new homes. Remember, y'all, we moved to Georgia 2018. We closed our church in 2018 and we moved to Georgia. Brand new home built from the ground up. God blessed us to buy that home. We sold that home 2.5 years later and profited $50,000. I know I'm telling y'all all my business, but this is for a testimony. This is for a testimony of how faithful. Please know this is not a brag, except on Jesus Christ. We sold that house 2.5 years later for a $50,000 profit. We sold that house. Then we moved here, stayed with my mom from April till November. April 30th, we sold the house April 30th. So whatever, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 7 months we stayed with my mom and built this house from the ground up and got in this house. You can't tell me what God. And then this house, I'm just letting y'all in on a little secret that Charles and I are probably going to sell this house, because we can sell this house and make about $150,000 in the 7 months we've been here. We can sell this house and clear $120,000 to $150,000, because that's just how the market is going up in Florida. Y'all, I'm not bragging on anything, but what God will do when you are faithful. God is good and He is awesome. So I just wanted to tell me you got me started when you said that, because God is faithful. So AJ said, bingo, I manage very well. He doesn't budget. Okay, we're polar opposites. Okay, overspending and late bills don't concern me. Okay, I get it. And that's where it's just gonna have to take some, yes, Tommy, God is faithful. That's where it's just gonna have to takes a lot of communication, and hopefully AJ, he will entrust you to take care of the bills. Because really it should be the person who's better with the bills. AJ said, the Lord definitely bless you. Preach about him. I remember when you bought that Georgia house. Yes, you lived one town over from a good friend. She lives in Dallas, Georgia. Yes, and then it's so funny. One of my blessed ones, she's one of my blessed ones. She told me she was like, D, I live, Dallas. I don't know if we were even talking about the same person, AJ, but she was like, I live in Dallas. And she moved into my neighborhood. She moved into my neighborhood. She was my neighbor and lived about 3 to 4 houses down. And I told her she couldn't believe when we're like, we're leaving. We're selling this house and leaving and going back to Florida. So I don't even know if we're talking about the same person, but she lives in Dallas, but she worked in Rome. So she said living in Dallas and driving to Rome was kind of far. So she wanted to move closer to Rome. So she moved to Rockmart. So she lived in my neighborhood. So I don't know if we're talking about the same person. But anyways, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I got off track. But whew, when you talk about Jesus, when you talk about the goodness of God, when you talk about the faithfulness of God, I could tell y'all some testimonies. I could tell y'all some testimonies. I just, okay, let me collect myself. I just had the sidebar. And so I just, before I get back, I just encourage you. I encourage you all to put your faith in Jesus Christ. I encourage you that if you are struggling financially, any area of your life, but especially financially, God's word is true. Sometimes we be trying to figure out like how. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't rich, and I'm still, I'm still looking for God to bless for financially, and God to bless even more. But so I am by no means rich. Except rich in love, I'm rich in faith, I'm rich in God's amazing grace. I get richer and richer every day. But financially, we're not rich. But I tell you that sometimes we buying these books and we're trying to figure out how to get rich, and this is. I was even looking at before this started. I was even looking at how can I make extra income. I was looking at these videos that say 7 different ways to make extra money, 5 different ways to make extra money. So I still look to make more money. But if you want to know, pay your tithe and give your offering, and God will give it back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Shall men give unto you? Give to you from their bosom. So, okay, all right. Let me get back. Hey, Krista, how you doing? Um, so yeah, AJ said the Lord definitely blessed you. Preach about him. I remember. Yes. Said merciful. Thank you, Tommy. Yes, praise. Andrea said, this is an awesome testimony, and God is awesome. I remember when you were in Georgia and now in Florida. Look at God. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Hi, Krista. Krista, hi, First Lady. Krista, I wish I could sing. Ooh, if I could sing, I just turn on the camera and just sing to y'all. I'm telling y'all, we just gonna have a praise night. Okay, let's get back. I got off track thinking about Jesus. Okay, so we're talking about those annoying things that can be detrimental or destroy a relationship. So we're talking about mismanaging your money. Now we're talking about not listening and not actively listening. That can be very detrimental in your relationship if you are not listening to your mate. You want to actively listen. And I know this is one thing that I even work on. My husband, when he comes home, or whatever we talk, or it's after church, or we just chilling, or whatever, I have a tendency, and I know this comes from my law enforcement background. I've always been a 911 operator, police dispatcher for over 36 years, 35 years, and I know how to split ear. I can listen to how you would listen to the police with one ear, and I can listen to a citizen on the phone with another ear. I can hear a deputy in this ear going on a traffic stop, 4312 Seminole to 65 1050, and I can hear him going on 1050 on 8 Alpha Bravo Charlie 123 at Red Bug Lake and 436 on a blue Honda Accord, and I can listen to the caller say, my boyfriend is trying to kick in the door, and I'm talking to the deputy to 26 at 23:59 hours. Okay, ma'am, and what's your address? And that I know how to do that. Been doing that for 35 years. So what I have to remember is when I'm talking to other people, I'm talking to my husband, I can't be distracted like that. I can't listen to him and try and watch TV. Listen to him and watch a video. Listen to him and play on my phone. So yes, that split ear. Yes, Krista. So you have to be able to transition from, whatever your job is, whether you're a nurse, like I said, 911 dispatch, like I was, or you have to be able to transition from what you would maybe normally do, have that split ear, and learn to actively listen and to give undivided attention. And what's the difference between listening and actively listening? Actively listening involves your body language. There have been times my husband can be here talking, and I'm this way, and I'm looking at him like this. Yeah, and I'm looking. Yeah. No, actively listening. My body should be turned towards him. My phone should be down. There are times that you might have to multitask. That's understandable. But just your normal conversation, your body language means everything. If you ever talking to somebody, y'all, and they ain't turned towards you, please get a clue. Please read the room. Read the room. Because when somebody's interested in you, they're turned towards you. They're squared off to you. They're engaged. You're nodding. Your eyes have a twinkle. You're interjecting little yeah, no, really? Oh, wow. That's active listening. And perhaps even asking questions. And what did you say? No, baby. What did you do then? No. Are you kidding? Wow. So that's part of active listening. I say, does he ask you to repeat what he just said? No. My husband, he doesn't ask me to repeat. Um, he doesn't ask at all. uh, and it's funny. I don't know. It's just, I guess, just his communication style. He's the type who's not going to repeat too much of anything. Like me, I can tell him a story, and you know how your mom will repeat something 2, 3 times. That's me. It's like I'll tell him something and I'll repeat it. Yeah, baby. And she said, no, he didn't. And then the second later, I'm like, and baby, she said, no, he didn't. But my husband, he don't repeat anything. He's not going to ask you to repeat. I'm just reading, catching up. It is hard for me to only do one thing at a time. I have to be doing more than one thing at a time. I understand that, Krista. That's just like, I cannot watch anything like Netflix, a movie and a TV show. I cannot watch anything, and that's all I do. Anytime I watch, I play my Words with Friends while I watch TV, or I play Spider Solitaire while I watch Netflix or something. I cannot just watch. I cannot. I cannot. But I try my best when I'm talking to my husband. I try my best to just, give him my undivided attention and put my phone down and put it away. And sometimes I have to be careful not to hurry up and grab it. Like, oh, you done? Grab my phone. And so, Deidre, put the phone away. Don't act like you done so I can get my phone. So let me see what y'all saying. Let's see. Does he ask you to repeat? No. Say that's good. Listening versus active listening. I struggle with that. Some of us have gotten good at fake active listening. Pray for me. don't fake it, Tommy. And it's funny. And I think some people, this is me too, or I have to fold clothes or something. Yes. That I get a lot of my laundry done while I'm watching Netflix. Because like you say, if I'm not playing solitaire or playing Words with Friends on my phone, I gotta be folding clothes or doing something. I cannot just sit there like this and watch a show. I gotta play Words with Friends. I gotta fold clothes. I gotta do something. But when it comes to engaging with each other, you want to engage, and you want to not multitask when it comes to engage with someone. And to Tommy's point, I think a lot of us don't quite know what active listening is. You may listen. You may be good at just listening, but what makes you fun to talk to, or good to talk to, or what makes you attractive to talk to is active listening. And that's when you're, like I said, when you're putting in it's that gleam in your eye, like I'm listening, I hear you, what you're saying is good stuff, and it's those, oh, no, wow, really? Oh, what you said then, and what did he say? But it's knowing how to time it too, because you don't want to put all of that in it. You want to because are you really listening when you're doing all that? So it's knowing where to interject that too. You're listening, and then you say, oh, you're listening, and you might ask your question. Well, what did you say? Or so, but it's like I say, it's a timing, and it's an ebb and a flow, because you don't want to because I know sometimes I'm such an active listener at times, I will make you feel rushed through your story. And I know my sister Danica can tell you that because my sister Danica talks slow. Like she's a slower talker. So I'm like asking her questions and she's like, I'm gonna get to that. So it can be irritating. So I know sometimes that can be irritating to her. That it's like, okay, Deidre, let me tell my story. Stop asking me all these questions. So it's knowing how your person talks also, um, and knowing when to interject and how to interject. Let me see. Oh, I love Spider Solitaire. I've been playing it for years and years and years. And when I'm watching any movie, that's probably what I'm doing 80% of the time is playing Spider Solitaire. Me neither. I have to do something while watching TV. Up. Welcome to the live, everyone. Please thumbs up. Thank you, Krista. Uh, just like Krista said, please thumbs up. Thank you. Not the extra. Yeah. Yeah, tell me you have to know how to ebb and flow with it and not make the person feel rushed through the story because it could come across, when you said fake, it could come across fake too if you're just doing too much. If you're just doing too much, it could come across as fake. Okay, let's move on. That was not actively listening. Y'all, we're just at number 8, and I got 21 to go. So if I'm just gonna breeze through some of these, irritating habits or annoying habits that could be detrimental to your relationship, being messy and being well, not messy figuratively, but messy as far as junky. Being messy and junky, that can be very irritating. Pick up behind yourself. We're adults. We're just gonna leave it at that. Number 9, not having good hygiene. Okay, self-explanatory. But I've heard, you know, just some people just don't have good hygiene. It's like, come on, people, come on, ladies. Shower daily. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to shower 2 and 3 times a day, but shower daily. I shower every morning and every night, and I might have one in between. In between, that depends on what I'm doing and where I'm going. Um, but shower daily, brush your teeth. Use some what you call it, a mouthwash. Um, if you need your mints, hey, I'm one that I need my mints, I need my mouthwash, I need my mints, I need my gum. I ain't gonna lie, So take care of your hair, your eyebrows, your nails, your feet. Not saying you gotta go spend money. Hey, if you don't want to spend money on those things, you can do them yourself. But take good care of your hygiene. It's just I guess I'm kind of lost for words that some people are just not good at the hygiene. And I've heard men say the same about the women. First lady, can you talk to my wife, about her hygiene? Or women complain about their men, not having good hygiene. Yes, so shaving on the arms, just yep, all of that, all those different things. Now I will say, some women have chosen, not to shave, and I say to each his or her own, long as that works for you and your mate. Long as that works for you and your mate. Um, so it just, like I say, it just depends on what works for you and just what works for you and your mate. Um, but it's got to be, like I say, it's got to be a mutual understanding and a mutual respect when it comes to what works as far as hygiene. If you know your man prefers you to shower before you get in bed at night, then go on and get you a shower. If you know that your woman prefers that you shower at night, go on and get you a shower. So we won't go on and on and on about that. But I will say I'm so glad that my husband and I are very compatible when it comes to hygiene. Because Lord, I can't imagine being in a relationship, um, and especially intimate times with somebody who is not. Hi. You'd be out of energy. um, I can imagine being in a relationship with somebody who's not good at the hygiene. So a lady was standing near my car, and the smell was not nice at all. And late, a few days later, she said she had something going on down there. Oh, okay. Yeah, got to get to those doctors. Some of us in the big and tall community with this weather need at least one shower a day. Exactly, right. And brush your teeth at least, yep, at least twice a day. Exactly. Um, exactly. So number nine. Oh, I said number nine was the hygiene. Number 10, not paying attention to your mate. Basically, we're talking just how we're talking about the communication and active listening, but that's irritating, annoying habit that we can have, not paying attention to our mate, because either you're paying attention to our phone, we're paying sometimes in our if you got little kids, we're paying more attention to our kids than our mate. That should not be so. Now, of course, we know kids require a lot of attention. I understand that. But a lot of times we forget about our mate because of the kids. And it's very important that we give attention to our mates. Sometimes we give more attention to our friends or our girlfriends. Sometimes, your man might be looking like you on the phone with Keisha again. Didn't y'all just have lunch? Did she just leave here? So you want to be careful in giving more attention and time to your friends than to your mate, or giving more time to TV, or you're always tired or lethargic. So you want to be mindful of that and give attention to your mate. Number 11, annoying habit, nagging all the time. Hey, say it once, maybe a reminder, and leave it alone. Leave it alone. At least leave it alone for a while. Y'all know what I told y'all about what the words say, where a man would rather be on the rooftop than in the house with a nagging woman. And we know, like I said, the rooftop, all kinds of stuff go on the roof. It's hot on the rooftop, or it's cold on the rooftop. Bird droppings on the rooftop. So don't be a nagging person, especially don't be a nagging woman. Number 12, annoying is making plans without talking to your mate. Don't if that's something that you all don't like in your relationship. Now if you got a understanding, he can make plans for you, you can make plans for him. Hey, to each to his or her own. But if that annoys your mate, don't go making plans for your mate if that annoys them. My man is one who nags. He's the one that does the nagging. And I'm sure it probably is annoying. Although you don't want to be nagging. Exactly. Andrea just say you don't want to be a nagging man. And T says that her man is the one that nag. So yeah, it could be either one of us. The man or the woman can be the nagging person. And I'm sure it can be annoying. But making plans without talking to your mate. I know there's one thing that my husband and I had to get straight in our marriage, because that first year or two, he would make plans for me. And I had to tell him, and he learned. It took him a couple of years, but he learned and he knows. Don't make no plans for my wife. I told him, look, you can make plans for our money. You can make plans for our home, because we've always had people live in our home. We've always been givers. But you cannot make plans with my time. And so that's something we had to get straight. So it can be annoying when you make plans for your mate. Talk it out first. Talk it out. Now, maybe you have a spontaneous mate, and maybe, certain spontaneity is good. But if you have a mate that don't like you, I like spontaneity, a little bit of spontaneity. I will say I like a little bit of spontaneity, but don't be making no plans for me. So I'm guilty of making plans without checking in with him first. Getting better. Okay, yes, good, AJ, getting better. Now, if your fiance don't mind that, then hey, more power to you. But if your fiance is like me, and I had to tell my husband, don't be making no plans for me. I don't mind if you going, but don't make my weekend plans. Now, ask me, baby, such and such invited us here. Do you want to go? And that's the way we do it now over the last, probably 15 years. But the first couple of years, he would make plans for me. Nope, don't do that. Number 13, don't make Make an effort. Make an effort in the relationship. Um, you need to make an effort for learning their love language. We talked about love language last week. Make an effort to know your mate's love language. Make an effort to know your love language so that you can properly communicate how you want to be loved. Don't make somebody guess about how you want to be loved. So know your love language. You got to put forth some effort in our relationship. Put forth the effort of really getting to know them. I mean, to me, it's such a sweet thing when you get a gift or you get something that just really touches the soul or touches the person because they know you. They know you and they get you. You know, it's nothing like being got. Like she gets me. He knows me. You know, so you got to put forth those efforts. You know what kind of things are good gifts. What kind of things? What's his love language? What's her love language? You know, do they like spontaneity or do they rather I plan? You know, so you want to put forth an effort, and it sounds so simple, but like I said, I've seen all kinds of relationships. Not only my relationship, but like I said, being in the capacity of a sister, being in the capacity of a friend, being in the capacity of a first lady. I've seen all kinds of relationships, and you'd be surprised at the lack of effort that we make towards each other. And I will say, yes, a lot of times it's the man. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of times as women, we stop with the effort. We stop with the effort. I remember when, for years and years, when I would see Charles, I made an effort. I made an effort where when my feet were gonna be on point, you know, everything was gonna be on point when I would see him. And then I ain't gonna lie, now it's like it could be 4, 5, 6 weeks before I get a pedicure. And I said wasn't gonna let my husband. He said, "Baby, we can't afford you get your feet done." I said, "Oh Jesus!" I said I was gonna let my husband look at my feet and tell me that again. So I tried my best to remember. Did you put for the effort? Yes, it's been 17 years, but my husband say we can't afford for you to get your feet done. There was a time, Deidre, you kept them foots done. So I'm just reminded, and like I said, and I like to tell the truth. I like to tell the truth because I don't pretend that I have arrived. I don't pretend, that everything is everything over here. I tell y'all the truth. My husband he will say that. Exactly, Tommy. Don't start what you can't keep up. And my husband would see that whenever he saw me, it's like my hair was on point, my feet were on point, my nails were on point. I ain't did my nails in years and years and years. But my nails were on point, my feet were on point, everything was on point to his liking. Well, it was to my liking first. But he liked it, did it, and smelled good and all that. And like I say, every now and then, I ain't gonna lie, every now and then I won't say I get busy. I don't, beauty takes time. And sometimes I don't feel like taking time out. Like I just made an appointment to go get my hair cut, so I can't deal. It's too much. It's too much. So next time y'all see me, I ain't gonna have nothing. It's too much. But I made an appointment to get my hair done, and it's like I don't feel like going. I need a pedicure. I don't feel like going. So it's not that I'm so busy. It's just beauty takes time, and I don't feel like I want to be home doing nothing when I'm not at work or at church. I want to be home doing nothing. But anyways, my whole point is, like you say, Tommy, don't start nothing that you can't finish. And I know what my husband like. Not only am I not just doing it just for my husband, I like my feet done. I like to say foots. I like my foots done. But I don't like putting forth the effort. But I have to remember this is what my husband likes. So did you put forth the effort? So that's another annoying habit is that we stop trying. You got to keep up our efforts. You got to keep up our efforts, lady, and gentlemen, the men too. But ladies, you want to keep up those efforts. Let me see what y'all saying. I'll say, hello, young lady. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I'm okay, Chris. Great. I love. Don't start nothing. Tommy says we men start out with cologne, haircuts, opening doors and such, and after we get comfortable, effort isn't the first thought. Yep, exactly. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I like this. My daughter taught me into mom. Get a little fro hawk. And so I let her talk me into it, and I really loved it. I really loved it when the guy did it, and but I don't. It's too much. I don't like hair. I don't. Not even this is way too long. Anyways, but thank you though. Um, but yeah, even men, like you say, Tommy, even the men, it's like they stay all edged up and they stay, fresh shower and shave and cologne and like I said, open doors and gifts and thoughtful. They're thoughtful, and then those things start to fade and they start to take for granted the good woman that they have. So we both need to remember to keep those efforts. Number one, for ourselves, keep ourselves up for ourselves, but also for our mates. Another annoying habit is not being considerate. Um, Not being considerate enough to be able to. You remember my long hair, Andrea? Yep. My hair used to be down there, and I was so glad the day that I got it cut. One of the best days of my life. And then from that day, I never want to hair another day. But not being considerate. We have to remember not being considerate. Remembering that we know we have to compromise at times. It's okay to compromise. We got to remember special dates and anniversaries. Remember you. And one thing that's very important too, and it's not always those fun dates. It's not always those anniversaries and Valentine and and all of that. Sometimes we have to remember, like with my husband, his mom. He's had a lot of loss in his family, but the most significant, his mom passed away, and it was in March. But this is years and years and years and years and years and years ago. But I know it's March, around about the 14th of March. So every year around that time, Charles is a little melancholy. He's a little off. He's a little bit more sensitive or more into himself. And sometimes I'm like, well, what's wrong with him? Or what? And then I remember, oh, his mom passed away, and it's that time. Or sometimes I miss it. It's a day or two, and he'll say, 2 days ago was my mom passed away, and I was like, oh, dang, I missed it. So and I like his daughter passed away August 27th, and I can remember that because my birthday is August 28th. And but August 27th was like about 3 years ago. But I try to remember to be sensitive about those dates. So I'm just saying, annoying habit is not being sensitive to certain dates, the good dates, and even the anniversary of the bad dates. Remembering, their family member. I'm sure it does a lot for your mate to remember, oh, it's your mom's birthday, or it's your child's birthday, or it's your mom and dad's anniversary. So just be considerate of those different things makes a big difference. And when we're not considerate of those things, it can be annoying, especially if they're very considerate of yours. They remember your dates. They remember, your birthdays. They remember your mom and dad's anniversary. They remember this and remember that, which Charles is better at remembering stuff than I am. And number 15, excuse me, not acknowledging their presence. That can be very annoying, not acknowledging their presence. And what I mean by that is, your maid comes into your presence, whether they just arrive home or whether it's at church or wherever it is, and you don't even acknowledge. Like, you don't even acknowledge that they came into your presence. You don't even acknowledge that they came home. Because you're busy on the phone, or you're busy watching something, or you're busy, cleaning up, or you're busy with the children or the grandchildren, and not acknowledging their presence. Do you get energized by being in their presence? Do your eyes light up? Does your heart get merry? Are you glad to reconnect? And those things are important in a relationship. it makes the person wants to come home. It makes the woman wants to come home. It makes the man want to come home. When your heart is merry because I'm here, you're glad that we're reconnecting at the end of a day, or that walk into your presence and you acknowledge me with the hello, how you doing, how was your day, a kiss, etc. So those things are very, very important, and they can become annoying if there is no acknowledgement of my presence. That's very, 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 important. Number 16, it could be very annoying and irritating. Posting y'all business on social media. Now it's okay. If your mate is okay with it, it's okay to share certain things. I share a lot on my social media as far as I post pictures like every week or 2 weeks. I'll post pictures of what went on in the preceding week or two, and so I call it my life in pictures. So I will show my life in pictures for that, and so I share a lot. Share when Charles and I go out, or what we ate, or what we did. But our personal, intimate business, I don't share. All of that. So you want to not be annoying or irritating, to the detriment of your relationship. Always sharing on social media. You're sharing when you're mad at your mate. You're sharing when he made a mistake. You're sharing when she did this, and what I call is oversharing. So you want to be mindful of that and only share to the comfort level of your mate. You might share more, but is your mate comfortable with that? So only share to the comfort, and that's not just social media, but with your girlfriends. Be careful what you're sharing with your friend girls about your mate. Only share to the comfort level of your mate. Does your mate want does your mate want your girlfriend to know that he used a little blue pill? does your mate does your mate want you to share his physical medical situations or whatever? Does your mate want you to share his how much he makes? Does your mate want you to share whatever intimately he told you about his family or whatever? So you want to be mindful of what you're sharing with other people, what you're sharing on social media, and you don't want to get into the annoying habit of oversharing your mate's business. Number 17, you're overly and unnecessarily jealous. And this is just like for no good reason. He or she didn't give you any reason to be jealous. It's just that your own insecurities, your own past hurts, your own baggage. It can be very irritating and detrimental to your relationship, and annoying and detrimental to your relationship when you're overly and unnecessarily jealous. Don't allow jealousy to ruin trust. Say that again. Don't allow jealousy to ruin trust. We'll go on to 18. Requiring your mate to always reassure you that they love you, that you're beautiful, that you're good enough. To me, that would be so annoying if I had to constantly reassure Charles that he's handsome enough, he is enough, I love you. Um, don't get me wrong, we say those things to each other. We compliment each other, we tell each other, all that good stuff, and that is good and that is healthy. But when you constantly require that reassurance, that is heavy, and that is burdensome on your relationship. You got to know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You got to know that you are a blessing in this relationship. And if they don't know the blessing that you are, then they probably don't deserve you. If they don't know the blessing that you are, so they don't have to constantly reassure you that you're beautiful, constantly reassure you that you're smart, constantly reassure you that you're handsome, constantly reassure you that you're the one that they want. All of that stuff, like I say, is excellent to tell each other, but don't put that heaviness on the person, on your mate, to reassure you, to be that security blanket for you. Um, Yes, yes, you got to keep it up though. I remember your long hair is me too. I use notes and reminders in my phone to help with that. Excellent, excellent, Tommy. I love that. You be serious about it. You say you keep notes and reminders. What's your thoughts on playful jealousy? Although sometimes that can be attractive, but not too much. Yes, I love that question, Tommy, because I think playful jealousy is good. I think it's really healthy for your relationship. But you have to. But this is the thing that you have to be honest about is that it's playful jealousy. Because my husband and I, we have playful jealousy in our relationship. But I know him and I know he's just playing. He's playing with just a tinge of truthfulness in there, if that makes sense. Like, say for instance, okay, I'll tell y'all how my husband said. Now y'all know my husband is raw. How he say things. So I'm just telling you how he says it. But my husband's told me this many times over our relationship. And he's right. He said, why every time I look, some white man in your face? He said, why every time I look, some white man on my woman, up on my woman. And that's just an example of what we're talking about, playful jealousy. Because he's serious in a way, but it's just, he's not jealous. And he knows me. And he knows that, but it's like, first of all, he knows I just love people. And he knows that I love men. He knows I love men. But he's like, you better just love man, one man. Because I tell him, you know I love men. He's like, you better just love one man. So that's kind of like that playful jealousy. But he's right that, okay, I'm not trying to be funny here, but I just have that magnetism. I just have that magnetism. When it comes to people in general, but men. And especially white men. So that's that playful jealousy, and I love it. I love it that when my you can hear him saying it too, right. And so I love that aspect. I love that my husband pays attention enough and cares enough that he's like, all right now, or like he invited this young man and this young lady to church, and they came to church, and I was I said, thank you for coming. I did a guy like after church, like, I saw your hands all over the young man. So that's what I said, playful jealousy like that. So I think that is good. I think that is cute. But you have to be honest about it. Because some people like to fake it. They like to pretend that, oh, I'm just playing, but in your heart, there's animosity about it. So yes, I think, but if it's truly playful jealousy, that's good. And a woman loves that, Tommy. I know many women are different, women are different, but I'm just speaking in generality that women love that because it's like, oh, my man. It reminds me of, see, y'all might be too young, but on the Cosby Show, y'all remember the little friend, I don't know if she was Denise's little friend or Tempest Bliss or whatever, but she'd be like, Lance, Lance, you're so cute, Lance. The little girl that like Lance. So that's how I feel like when my husband is jealous. I'm like, Lance, you're so cute, Lance. Let me see what Andrea is saying. Let me see. Say, know your own value, that you are valuable, yes, and know who you are. If you have to be told these things all the time, there's something missing. Exactly. Maybe it stems from childhood or something that happened. Exactly, Andrea. You got to know. Tommy said yes. Yes. So Tommy, you remember? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how old you all are, but Tommy, you remember Lance? You remember your little young girl? Every time Lance did something, she was like, Lance. My man Lance, he's so cute. Oh, Lance. That's how I feel when Charles get jealous. I'm like, oh, Lance. Yeah, okay, yes. She was the cousin, Pam's friend. Yes, exactly. I can't remember, but I love that girl's character. And I loved her and Lance. I loved that she was all crazy for Lance. But yes, but back to your point, Andrea, yes, you have to know these things for yourself. And it's detrimental to a relationship when you've got to constantly be reassured that you're amazing, you're good, you're awesome, you're beautiful, you're kind, you're loving, you're the one I want, you're the one I'm in love with, you're the one I don't want anybody else, you know. So it's if somebody's got to constantly reassure that, then like you said, there's something missing. There's something that you got to go introspective and you've got to figure out, how do I love myself that my mate doesn't have to constantly reassure me. Yes, it's good to tell each other that. 17 years later, Charles and I still, but what is so awesome about it, we don't need it. He knows that I love him. He knows that I think he is smart. Despite his poor grammar, he's very smart. You know, he's very gifted in, in certain areas. He's handsome. Please, you're so handsome. But he tells me, those things, but I don't need it. I don't need it. Charmaine! Yes! Charmaine! Yes, yes, yes. You all are good. Y'all remember stuff. I can't remember stuff, but I remember characters. But yes, I love Charmaine. I love her. And so that's how I feel. Even now, 17 years later, been knowing Charles for 35, 36 years. 37. Been knowing Charles for 37 years. That's the same way I feel. I feel like Charmaine felt about Lance. That's how I feel about Charles. But anyways, so don't be overly, jealous. Number 18, and that was number 18, was requiring your mate to always reassure you. Ladies, and I know a lot of times this is ladies, men too. Sometimes men be needing that constant reassurance too. You want to offer that to each other. You want to tell your mate all of those good accolades, all of those good things. You want to remind your mate of what you love about them. Yes, you want to be verbal about that because that's always good to hear, even if the person doesn't need it. But if you are one that constantly needs that, you've got to work on that. You've got to work on that and know that you are enough. You are more than enough. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are smart. You are resilient. You are strong. You are lovely. You are deserving. That's the biggest thing. A lot of times we don't think we're deserving. You are deserving of good love. Good love. Good love. You are deserving of good love. I'm blushing. Yes, even in his absence, he still makes me blush. As a matter of fact, I just told Charles this yesterday that we were headed to church yesterday. And I said, baby, thank you for putting up with me for 17 and a half years. Putting up with my mouth. So, yes. Sometimes our male egos are fragile. We need some assurance, yes, but that overassurance can make us feel like we aren't enough. And are we that Tommy, you are just, man, when you gonna be doing your lives so I can come see your lives? You need to have some classes for men. You be on it. And just how you just wrap things up so succinctly and profoundly and articulately, and love it. But yes, because you made such an excellent point that you have to know a right balance, a good balance. Ladies, we got to know a good balance. You have to, I know there's no hard and fast rule that says say this 3 times a day or 3 times a week and don't do this. I know there's no hard and fast rule, but you just have to kind of, you learn your mate, and you learn the ebb and the flow, and you learn when they need it, and you say, oh, my I think he needs this, or he needs to hear this. But like Tommy said, that when you do it too much, then they have a converse reaction, because now they feel like they're not enough because you're making it seem like you got to overcompensate because they're not enough. So it's hard to say what's the perfect amount, but it's really just learning the ebb and flows. I know my husband is very confident, sometimes to the point to me of arrogance, but I can tell when he needs that uplifting. I can tell when he needs a reminder of his awesomeness. So it's just knowing your mate, and knowing, AJ, if you're still in here, it's knowing your fiance, knowing when he needs a boost, knowing when he needs to hear how awesome He is, knowing what He needs to hear and know um, you chose Him, or why you allowed Him to choose you, why you said yes. What is it that you love about Him? So yeah, that's an excellent point, Tommy. Excellent point. I love that because, like you say, the male ego is very fragile, and you have to. The secret is knowing how to deal with it. And like you said, if you give too much, if you just do way too much, then you have the opposite consequences. Where now he feels like you just saying some stuff. So number 19, constantly comparing your partner. Oh, that's a bad one there. Don't do that. Don't constantly compare your partner. Don't compare your partner to exes. Don't compare them to your pastor. Don't compare them to the social media people, the Instagrammers, the celebrities. Don't compare your partner to their friends. Compare them to their friends. No, don't compare your partner. That can be detrimental. That could be a very annoying habit that could be very detrimental to your relationship. Number 20, bad timing to a serious discussion. Sometimes in life and in marriage and in relationship, we got to have some serious discussion. But know your timing. Know the timing. There are just certain times that just not, and it's knowing your mate. It's knowing what works in your relationship. Like I said, like I said at the beginning of this at the beginning of this video, my husband told me the other night, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you. I wanted to tell you about the truck needed fixed, but I didn't want to tell you right before bed because I don't like bad news right before bed." So, like I said, when he said that, I said, "Note to self, Deidre. He's letting you know he don't like no bad news before bed." So, sometimes you're gonna have to have those serious conversations, but there is such a thing as bad timing. So, however that works out for you, whatever is good timing, you have to know what is good timing for you. Uh, thank you, Krista. Krista is on the welcome committee, and she also reminds everybody to thumbs up. So thank you, and I appreciate all the thumbs up. And I thank everybody here subscribed already. But if you're new here and you have not subscribed, I welcome you to subscribe. Okay, and last one, you guys. The last one, because we're way over an hour. This was the 21st one. And then after this one, I want to hear if you all have some annoying habits that you think destroy, if you have them, or in your relationship. Always, oh, this is like for I would say my Christian people. I think, and this is just this opinion, but always pulling the God card is what I call it in a relationship. Um, Always throwing God in the situation. Now, don't get me wrong. God should be all up and through your relationship. He should be the center of your relationship. But to me, it's a bad, annoying habit to always throw God in there. To always, well, what you think God think about that? What you think God would say about you doing this? What do you think? What do you think? I'm just gonna tell God on you, or just all to me. That is just I can imagine just how annoying that would be. That's just annoying. That's for those I call super Christians. That that is to me that is annoying, and especially if you are say you're the Christian and your mate is not, you are not going to draw them to Christ by always want to sick God on them. Yes, it is a big turn off. Yes, making people feel controlled. Exactly, AJ. Exactly. That would be a big turn off. You don't have to go like I say, you live. If Christ should be the center of your relationship, but you live it. You don't have to bring God into, the situation, or like how you sick a dog on somebody, you have to sick God on somebody. You don't have to insert, hey, if there's something that you need to take to God in prayer, take it to God in prayer in your quiet, in your secret place, and your thoughts, and in your prayer time and your quiet time. But you don't have to put God doesn't have to be in every conversation or every situation. or you can't enjoy certain things because we're free. We're free in Christ Jesus to enjoy everything that God has for us to enjoy. There's modesty now in certain areas. But what I'm saying is we are free to enjoy life and we don't have to put God in the midst of every little thing. So since my ex would always say, what you think God would say about that? It got on my nerves all the time. I told him to pray for me and see what God say. I know that's right, Sid. I know, Sid. And I would, and even with Charles being a pastor or had been a pastor, right now he's an assistant pastor at a different church. But when we had our own church, that's one thing that I did not do. When I didn't. Oh, you supposed to be a pastor, and what would God say? No, I didn't. I never said that. You supposed to be a pastor, or you supposed to be a man of God, or I never said that or use those things. Um, so, Tommy says seeking God is important and accountability if you choose to model a Christ marriage, but using God as a weapon ain't it. Yes, exactly. I love that. I love that. Tommy, you always say things that I wish I said. Yeah, like yeah. I wish I had said that. But yes, I love it. I love it. But yes, like you say, we should be seeking God, and He should be the center of our life and the center of our relationship, and we should always seek God in all situations. But like you say, using it as a weapon, no, that is not it. And I know Christ would not have us to use Him as a weapon. We're supposed to live it, not use it as a weapon. Yes, Tommy. I'd be like, yeah, what you said. Anyways, so this is where I know we've been having conversation all throughout, but I would love to hear from you all. What are some annoying habits that either you may have that like, I know this is annoying and I gotta work on this and I'm working on this, or some annoying habits that others have had in your relationship that you just didn't like, or it was a detriment to your relationship or destroyed your relationship. Anybody have anything before we go? I'd love to hear even more from you guys. What are some of those annoying habits? I will say, while I'm waiting on you all, I would say probably in our relationship, I would imagine Charles would say one of the annoying things is my mouth. Um, and it's just saying little things or sarcasm, usually some little sarcasm or whatever. And I would say with him, it's just messiness. But he will help me clean. Charles is very junky and messy, but he will help clean. So I can say that he doesn't just leave. He's not just messy and leave it all for me. I'm saying that final point is good. Oh, thank you. Annoying habit: not follow up. If we've agreed on doing something new and change behavior and no follow through, that's a good one. Yep, that's a good one. No follow through. Yeah. I would say that that's something I would need to work on. I definitely gonna say that that's something I would need to work on, is learning follow through. Because my husband will tell me to do something, or ask me to do something, or I'll say I'm going to do something, and then he'll say he's not a procrastinator. There is not a procrastinating bone in his. Well, I won't say. For the most part, he's not. For the most part, he's not a procrastinator, unless it's just something he just really like. He ain't plan on doing it anyway. But he'll ask me, "Did you do this? Did you do this?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna do it. I haven't done it yet." So I know no follow through. I know Charles will probably 100% agree with you there. Crystal said, "I dislike when my ex will wait to eat. I've been wanting him to eat right after I cook while it is hot, and he would say the food not going nowhere. I would be mad. Yep, y'all cooks. The cooks be like, hey, hi, Rick. Welcome. Come on in the room. Krista, that's because you can cook. So y'all cooks be wanting to, cook, and you want to come sit and enjoy the food right then. But us non-cooks, every now and then when we do cook, we be like, the food on the stove. Eat when you want to. It ain't gonna be no more. It ain't gonna be no more bad, no more worse than what it is now. Since he would repeat what he said 2 or 3 times. I heard you the first time. That is me. Yup, that is annoying. Yup, I get that, Andrea, and I repeat. I'm one that repeat, and it annoys Charles. So I try my best to remember, Deidre, stop repeating. But it annoys Charles. He's like, I heard you. Yeah, Crystal, that's what it is. You can cook. So y'all cooks be like, come on now, eat the food. Us non-cooks be like, it's on the stove. I don't remember what number it was, but mine is don't make plans for me without asking me. Yep. Uh-huh. I just ask, uh-huh. Yep. Ask me if I wanted to do it. Go, yep. Let me make the decision. Yep. That's I think I don't know if that was one or two, but yep, that was one. I'm glad to see you. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to cook. I'm a microwave queen. Exactly. That's me, Whitney, too. Um, but yeah, I said that was mine. Was don't make plans for me. I did not like that. I hate that. Don't make plans for me. I might want to sit in front of my computer and play Spider Solitaire and do nothing. Don't say me and Deidre will be at the party. Uh-uh. All right. Anybody else? When we were talking about those annoying habits that destroy relationships, and I've gone through all 21 of them, and now just asking everybody if they had any annoying habits that you know you're guilty of, or annoying habits that you know that have destroyed some of your relationship that you know that you didn't like. So let's see. My annoying habit is keeping a offense list. For example, Monday you didn't do dishes. Tuesday you forgot to get groceries, and I wouldn't say anything. And by Wednesday I'm ready to bring my list out. It's unfair, but I'm working on it. Well, I'm glad you're working on it. And that's the thing is that as people, we are going to have some annoying habits. Our partners are going to have annoying habits. Together, we're going to have some annoying habits in our relationship. But as long as we're cognizant of it and that we're working on it, and like I say, some annoying habits are just going to be there. Just going to Charles, my husband, has been messy since the 17 years we've been married, and it's just going to be there. I mean, I just say, hey, it is what it is. But like I say, but I'm thankful because a lot of times people are messy, whether it's the husband or the wife, and they don't clean. So Charles will help me clean up. So because we already said this weekend we got to clean up because we just got a lot going on. By this weekend we got to clean up because we got a lot going on come the weekend, and then I think next weekend I'm going to Atlanta, and so we got to get this house clean. So I'll do a little bit here, he'll do a little bit there. I said, "Oh, I could write a pamphlet on the friendship version of that. I had to leave a friendship a few days after my birthday because the friend was controlling. I had to walk on eggshells when talking. Yep, yep. And like I said, this is relationship, friendship, siblings, parents, intimate relationship. But because it works with it all. Sometimes in our, like I say, friendship relationship, there are annoying habits. But yeah, when somebody's controlling, sometimes we have to just let those friendships go. Says my habit is fussing because there is hair on the sink and my hair is not long enough to even comb. Exactly, exactly. Say, oh God, guys, keep those chin hairs in the sink, Lordy. Um, but yes, with and I'm sometimes I'm amazed at how long people remain in a relationship, and I'm talking about friend relationship. How long people remain in friend relationship that there's ongoing problems or situations or controlling. There's controlling or there's all kinds of issues, and sometimes I'm like, why are y'all still friends? But I find that sometimes it's hard for people to let go of friend, and I'm talking about friendships that are detrimental. You know, I'm friendships that are detrimental. Sometimes it's hard for people to let go of friendships. People who are controlling, or people who are nasty, or people who are, um, just all kinds of backstabbing. Uh, and it's hard sometimes for us to let those friendships go. So kudos to you for not staying in that. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, I think we're going, I don't know how long we're going, into an hour and a half or more. But of course, it is time well spent. I absolutely love you guys. I appreciate you guys. So you're right, I prayed for her, but she decided to leave because she felt I changed after the passing of my brother. So I had to go. Well, you might have changed due to the passing of your brother, but hey, that's what we do. We learn, we change, we grow. So nothing wrong with change, long as it wasn't bad. I have to let all season friendship go. Your friendship with me is a rule. We are stuck together. Yes, I was looking at our pictures today, Sid. I was going through my phone and I was looking at our pictures when Sid came to visit me. I missed the blessed place the last few weeks. Thank you, Tommy. I've been wondering, like, where's Tommy? Thank you so much for being here with us. Y'all had asked last week where was Aaron, and I haven't heard from Aaron tonight, but Aaron did text me last week and said Dia had to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. He's like, so I had to get to bed. So I truly understand that. So I don't know if he also has to be at work 4:30 in the morning and he's in bed. But hey, I truly understand that. So I love you guys. I appreciate the time that you spend with me. Again, I say this all the time, that time is precious, and it's one thing that once it's spent, we cannot get back. So when you give me some of your time and you share that time with me, I cannot even begin to express my appreciation towards you all. So I love y'all. Thank you for being here. And like I said, I make reels and all of that stuff on Instagram. So if you're not already following, I invite you over there. I see Tommy over there on Instagram. So I invite you all to follow me over there. So blessed one. All right, you guys. Mwah. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Take care. And remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you're everything that God intends for you to be. And you don't have to have nobody to tell you that. But I'm telling you. Mwah. Y'all be blessed.